Welcome to the NewsHour. The meeting between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin at an American military base in Anchorage, Alaska, ended with no apparent resolution to the war in Ukraine, a lofty goal that Mr. Trump set as his objective for today's summit.
It was the first time Putin, who has been indicted for war crimes in Ukraine, has set foot in the U.S. in a decade. After meeting for about 2.5 hours, the two presidents appeared briefly before the press to read statements and both left Alaska a short time later. Nick Schifrin is in Anchorage tonight and begins our coverage.
Just south of the Arctic Circle today, a possible thaw in normally frosty U.S.-Russia relations. For years in the West, Vladimir Putin has been a pariah. Today he was a passenger in President Trump's limousine. But in a joint press appearance, President Trump described today's progress as uneven.
There were many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal.
Earlier today with Fox News' Bret Baier, President Trump's goal was explicit.
I won't be happy if I walk away without some form of a ceasefire.
But President Putin made clear he had not made that agreement or any deal over Ukraine.
We're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict.
That's a reference to caps on the size of Ukraine's military and its ability to join Western organizations, including NATO. In fact, Russia arrived in Alaska confident its soldiers have achieved a significant advance near a key logistics hub in eastern Ukraine. And publicly, Moscow's demanding the map redrawn, with international recognition of Russian control of Crimea and 4 Ukrainian regions, including land that Ukraine still holds. Russia has suggested giving up small territory it controls in other regions. President Trump said he will talk land swaps with Putin, but said earlier today the final decision was not his.
They'll be discussed, but I've got to let Ukraine make that decision. And I think they'll make a proper decision. But I'm not here to negotiate for Ukraine. I'm here to get them at a table.
Putin also wanted to expand the conversation, including by proposing an extension to the U.S. and Russia's sole remaining arms control treaty and bilateral economic investment.
Sooner or later, we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue.
The U.S. delegation included Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, but President Trump said earlier today that larger conversation with Putin had to wait.
He's bringing a lot of business people from Russia, and that's good. I like that because they want to do business, but they're not doing business until we get the war settled. The war's got to stop and the killing's got to stop.
He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not.
For years, President Trump has envisioned a better relationship with Putin and Russia.
Vladimir, thank you very much.
The two met 6 times in Trump's first term, most infamously in Helsinki, where Trump sided with the former KGB spy over his own intelligence community on Russia's 2016 election interference.
I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
This term began with President Trump blaming Ukraine for the war, temporarily cutting off military and offensive intelligence help, and scolding Zelensky.
You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying.
But after what Zelensky called a historic meeting in the Vatican, and Russia relentlessly targeted civilian areas, President Trump accused Putin of, quote, going crazy.
I've been hearing so much talk. It's all talk. It's all talk, and then missiles go into Kiev and kill 60 people. It's got to stop. It's got to stop.
The president's roller coaster rhetoric continued this week.
I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war.
Leading to today's landmark meeting, even if the progress is still unknown.
We'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much.